Craving someone and valuing someone might look the same from a distance, but when you get close enough, you'll see the difference clear as day. Craving is about what a person wants from you. Valuing is about what they're willing to give to keep you. When someone craves you, they chase the thrill, the attention, the spark. You become a feeling they want to experience. But when someone values you, they protect that connection, they nurture it, and they don't play games with your time or your peace. Craving fades when the excitement does. It's like hunger. It comes fast, it burns strong, but it never stays satisfied for long. That's why some people show up one day with passion and disappear the next with excuses. They were craving the comfort, not the commitment, but value. Now that's built different. Value doesn't vanish when things get real. Value doesn't hide when life gets heavy. When someone values you, they don't just show up when it's convenient. They show up because they want to, because your presence adds meaning to their life, not just pleasure. Think about it. When you buy something cheap, you toss it aside without a thought. But when you invest in something real, something you value, you handle it with care. You don't risk losing it because you know its worth. People are no different. When someone truly values you, they don't gamble with your heart. They don't disappear to figure things out. They make sure you know you matter. So don't be flattered by the craving. Craving can make you feel wanted, but value makes you feel safe. One feeds the ego, the other feeds the soul. And at the end of the day, only one of them lasts when the feeling fades. Emotional hunger isn't love. It just wears the same outfit. It shows up looking passionate, intense, and irresistible, but underneath, it's driven by emptiness, not connection. You know that feeling when someone seems obsessed with you, when they call you all the time, when they say they can't live without you. It feels flattering, even intoxicating. But emotional hunger isn't about you. It's about what they're missing inside themselves. You're not being loved. You're being used as a temporary fix for a permanent void. Love, on the other hand, doesn't come from lack. It comes from overflow. Love doesn't say, I need you to make me whole. It says, I'm whole and I want to share that with you. There's a big difference between someone reaching for you out of loneliness and someone reaching for you out of fullness. One drains you, the other uplifts you. Emotional hunger burns fast and hard. It creates drama, constant highs and lows, because the person chasing you isn't looking for partnership. They're chasing relief. They're trying to quiet their own noise by drowning it in your presence. And when you can't fill that space anymore, when you stop giving them that emotional rush, they'll move on to someone else who can. It's not because you failed. It's because they were never trying to build something real in the first place. True love grows quietly, patiently, and with balance. It gives space instead of demanding it. It listens instead of taking over. Emotional hunger says, don't leave me. Love says, I want you free and still choosing me. Once you understand that, you stop mistaking intensity for intimacy. Because love doesn't crave, it cares. It doesn't consume, it connects. And that's the kind of love worth waiting for. Silence is powerful. It's where the truth hides when words can't be trusted. You ever notice how someone can talk all day long, but somehow what they don't say tells you more than what they do? When a person goes quiet, when their energy shifts, when the communication slows down without a reason, that's not confusion, that's a message. Silence doesn't mean nothing's happening. It means something real is being revealed. We live in a world where people love to talk. They'll promise, they'll explain, they'll paint pretty pictures with their words, but talk can be cheap and silence is expensive. Because when someone stops speaking, you start seeing. You see how consistent they are. You see how much effort they make without being asked. You see what remains when the noise dies down. That's where the truth lives, in the quiet after the talk is over. Sometimes we ignore silence because we're scared of what it might mean. We fill the gaps with excuses. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they need time. Maybe I'm overthinking. But deep down, silence has a way of confirming what the heart already suspects. It's not just absence of sound, it's presence of truth. And don't get it twisted. Silence isn't always cruel. Sometimes it's clarity. Sometimes it's the universe saving you from another heartbreak. When someone goes quiet, it can be their way of showing you where you really stand. And if you're paying attention, you'll hear exactly what they're saying without them saying a word. So stop chasing noise. Stop begging for words that don't mean anything. Sit still for a moment and listen, because silence speaks in a language only honesty can understand. And when it speaks, believe it. Actions don't lie. Words can sweet talk you, charm you, even confuse you, but actions always tell the truth. You ever notice how easy it is for someone to say, I love you or I miss you, but when it's time to show it, they vanish? That's because talk is comfortable, but consistency is costly. People can promise you the world, but if they don't back it up with movement, all you've got is noise dressed up as meaning. See, actions are the real evidence of someone's heart. You can't fake effort for long. You can talk your way into someone's life, but only actions can keep you there. When someone really cares, they don't need reminders. They don't need a script. They just show up. They remember what matters to you. They do what they said they would do, even when it's inconvenient. That's what separates intention from performance. And here's the hard part. We often choose to believe words because actions require patience to see. We want quick reassurance, so we listen to promises instead of waiting for proof. But love that's real doesn't rush to declare itself. It builds quietly, step by step, until you can feel it without hearing it. Think about this. If someone tells you they care, but their behavior leaves you feeling small, anxious, or uncertain, then their words and their truth are out of sync. People who mean what they say make you feel safe in their silence and seen in their presence. You never have to question their energy because their actions answer every doubt. So start watching more than you're hearing. Listen to the patterns, not the paragraphs. Words might make you smile for a moment, but actions, they'll show you the truth every single time. Self-worth is the foundation of every healthy relationship. It's the quiet voice inside that says, I deserve better. Even when your heart wants to settle, when you know your worth, you stop negotiating your value for attention. You stop mistaking crumbs for care. You stop chasing people who only show up halfway and calling it love. Because once you understand what you bring to the table, you won't be afraid to eat alone till someone worthy sits beside you. The problem is, too many of us think love is about proving we're enough for someone else. We bend, we shrink, we compromise until we barely recognize ourselves, all for a person who never deserved that kind of devotion. But real love doesn't require you to lose yourself. It invites you to become more of yourself. And that can only happen when your self-worth is stronger than your desire to be chosen. Steve Harvey once said, you can't expect a man to treat you like a queen if you act like you don't believe you are one. That's the truth right there. How you see yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. When you walk in confidence, not arrogance, but quiet assurance, you naturally draw respect. And those who can't meet you there, they drift away because your self-worth refuses to entertain anything less. Loving yourself isn't selfish, it's sacred. It means saying no when your peace is on the line. It means recognizing that someone's inconsistency isn't your fault and their silence isn't your cue to try harder. When you value yourself, you stop chasing explanations and start protecting your energy. Because self-worth doesn't beg, it decides. It doesn't wait to be chosen, it chooses itself, and that's where real love begins. Truth doesn't always arrive with fireworks or drama. Most times it walks in quietly, almost unnoticed until it stands right in front of you and you can't ignore it anymore. We expect the truth to make a grand entrance, to show up loud and obvious, but life doesn't work like that. Real truth moves softly. It creeps in through the cracks of your denial, through the pauses in a conversation, through the uneasy feeling you get when something just doesn't sit right. You ever have that moment where everything finally makes sense? Not because someone explained it, but because silence filled in the blanks? That's the truth revealing itself. It doesn't need an argument or a confession. It just needs your willingness to pay attention. The truth doesn't force itself on you. It waits for you to be ready to hear it. Sometimes we overlook the truth because it doesn't come in the form we want. We want clarity to sound comforting, but sometimes it sounds like goodbye. We want honesty to feel gentle, but sometimes it feels like loss. But that's the thing. The truth doesn't bend to protect your feelings. It shows up to protect your future. It removes what's false. Even when what's false felt familiar, and when it finally hits, it doesn't explode, it settles. It brings peace where confusion once lived. You stop questioning, stop chasing, stop trying to rewrite the story, because the truth, once seen, can't be unseen. So if you're still waiting for some big sign, take a step back and listen. Look at what keeps repeating. Notice what your gut keeps whispering. The truth doesn't shout, it shows. And when it does, it doesn't need to convince you. It just is.